What's going on, YouTube? It's James with Shimer Fantasy Battle Reports. I got another battle report for you today. It's Buckeyes 2018, round number 5. Guys, it's been a hell of a ride. You know what? Buckeyes was the tournament I was missing. Buckeyes was the tournament that I needed to get me back into the mojo of the game, to get me back to see my friends, get me back to just playing this and enjoying it. But you know what the coolest thing about Buckeyes was? And this has happened to me all 3 years. All 3 years I run into somebody and they said, I watch your YouTube channel. I started playing this game because of you. And I got that this year at Buckeyes. This year at Buckeyes, somebody came up to me and said, I've never even heard of this game, and I actually looked it up. I looked up the T9A because I watch your battle reports on YouTube. And so I thought that was really cool. I thought that was that's an awesome thing. Well, coincidentally, maybe like 2 hours later, I'm playing that guy. Holy shit, he's my round 5 opponent. This is James Starr, guys. James Starr is also wearing a Guild t-shirt, and if you guys have never seen the Guild, it was on Netflix. I think they just took it off from Netflix recently, but you guys should definitely check it out. I think you could still check it out on YouTube. That is a hilarious show made by Felicia Day about internet gamers. Anyways, that's besides the point. I'm just gonna go on to a little segue that way. So guys, as you guys know, I haven't really been doing too hot. I actually got a 20 on my last round. I actually have a chance of catching up to Gene. If Gene Phelps blanks out and gets like 0 to 1 points and I get a full 20 on James here, I could win Best Orc and Goblin General. Alright? But I really need that, like the stars to align and have that ability. Alright? Anyways, let's go over what James has on the table. Let's go over what the other James has on the table, and let's do this. Over here, on the left, he has a unit of their Imperial Guard with greatswords. I just call them greatswords. Then in the front, he has his BSB. He has his what are they called? The Frenzy Monk guys, the prelates. He has a unit of Imperial Cav, and in that Imperial Cav, he has a wizard as well as I think another character in there as well. And then his general is the Big Bird himself. Big Bird. I'm just gonna call him the Big Bird. Now that guy, you know, in all fairness, most monsters like that scare the shit out of me just because my general is such a pansy in defense. But this guy has, I think, it's a 1-up armor, 5-up ward, and I'm looking at the rest of his stuff. He has divine attacks. Didn't even notice that. He has divine attacks. He also has I can't even really tell. A 2-up ward against flaming and a 5-up ward against. He has the winter cloak. Anyways, don't really want to mess with that guy. Like I said, if he was to get into fight with my general, I'm pretty sure he would win. Anyways, let's go over what else he has. Why is the arrow button not working? That sucks. Alright, over on the left he has a unit of rioters, over on the right he has another unit of rioters, then he has a unit of Imperial, gun boys, whatever they're called, the handgunners. Some of them have crossbows, some of them have, shotguns, or, rifles. Then he has 2 rocket batteries. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Are they called rocket batteries still, by the way? Let's find out. Imperial Rocketeers. So he has 2 Imperial Rocketeers. These things do D3 wounds per wound or some shit like that. So these are just really nasty. He also has a steam tank, and I think that might be it. He has another unit of 5 guys. Magic. He has Divination. He takes Fate's Judgment, Guiding Light, Unerring Strike, Scrying, and Stars Align. For my magic, I have Hand of Heaven, Wrath of God, Trial of Faith, and Cleansing Fire, Lightning Van Braces. My whole goal here is to keep the Trial by Faith and just try to actually kill his general without fighting his general. That was my goal for it. Let's see if it works. The other Thaumaturgy spell, what is it? The one where you make them lose general leadership and BSB bubble, doesn't really play a part when all 5 rounds I'm playing dwarves and they're all leadership 10 or cold-blooded lizards or Empire, which are still a high leadership. So it didn't really matter for me there. For the other one, Smite the Unbeliever, I actually really contemplated taking that one, but I think that the Trial of Faith helps me out a little bit better in a situation like this where he has a combat lord and I just really don't want to fight it. So I believe, let's see who took first turn. I might have took first turn, he takes first turn, let's find out. I might have dropped everything. Let's see. I gotta skim ahead to see who's moving first. It was me who's moving first. Alright, so I dropped everything. And, or did I? Looks like I'm moving first. That's interesting. I think what he did was, I think he dropped his, he deployed his rockets up on the hill. Oh, it was probably counter thrust. It was either counter thrust or marching columns. I think that's what it was. So knowing that, he deployed those rockets up on the hill. I knew where the rockets were, and basically once the rockets appeared, I decided to drop everything and take first turn. And I think I had like a +4 to the roll, so I rolled it and I rolled a 6. I was like, yeah, there's just no way in hell he's gonna pass that. Anyway, so he drops his stuff on the hill, and the first thing I think of is I ask him, what's the range of those rocket batteries? And I believe they were 48. So knowing that right off the bat, the first thing I do is I make sure nothing could get shot, nothing of importance is gonna get shot by them, which is just basically General Dread, Warboss Dread. As you can see on his side of the table is clear, my side of the table is blurry as hell. So he has basically, he kind of sets up rather standard. He has his big combat block in the middle, 2 supporting shooting units to the flanks of them. He has his riders out on the flanks, and he has his big night bus up by the hill, and then his general up on the hill. And then, yeah, pretty standard. I go ahead and I deploy my Spider Riders, and I use my Spider Riders all the way out to this flank over here, and their whole goal is to take out those rockets. Because I'm not going to move until I get the rockets. We're playing secure target. There's 2 locations out there, and yeah, that's how it looks right here. Now, as you can see where I put my dogs were originally gonna go get that rocket, but once I realized he protected it with the rider, he has his general there, and I'm just gonna lose my dogs for like a dumb reason. So what I end up doing is I end up just vanguarding my dogs the opposite way, going towards my savages. And my reasoning for this is on turn 1, I'm just going to make a screen for my savages so I don't get shot by all those crossbow shots and handgun shots, and I mitigate some of the damage onto my savages. So that's what I do. As you can see, I just kind of like put a line there. I don't really move my spider. I do move my spider a little bit, but not too much. I'm basically just trying to gonna web launch some of his guys. I'm not too worried about getting shot with the spider at the moment. And as you can see, my general is nowhere near the action. Crom is moving up a little bit now, and then my Spider Riders are not testing the Lord. They're not going to stand 18 inches away to try to get a trial by faith, because he could just get a charge with a reroll and get me so easy. So I believe I went like 19 or 20 inches, and I was just like, you know what? It's not even worth it. He basically made a screen with his riders over on the right side, as you can see, so he doesn't allow me to get behind him with the Spider Riders, which was a very smart move by my opponent. And then on this side, it's super blurry picture. But basically, one of the objectives is right there, so I'm just going to walk up with the shooting bow goblins or my force goblins and just hold it onto that objective. Magic, I got a 7 on the power flux. Go ahead and I do a Hand of Heaven, get a couple wounds off onto his rocket battery there, and that's all that really happens in Magic. I think I tried to do a Lightning Van Brace, he stopped it, and the other things don't matter. I tried to do a Comet, and he stopped it. Shooting, I'm going to shoot the bow shots from these guys into that rocket, and I end up killing the rocket. Nobody panics. That's totally cool. Over here, I'm going to do the web launching, and I end up killing off just the back row. 5 crossbows, which is fine. It works. That's totally awesome. And yeah, it's going to start off his turn. Empire of the Sonnstahl, turn 1. Empire of the Sonnstahl, turn 1. He doesn't really move too much. Magic, he ends up getting a 3 on the flux. And as you can see, this is kind of how it looks. He moved his general back a little bit. I don't understand what the logic was for that. And he moved his riders behind the lines because he doesn't want to get shot up by that spider unit. He's kind of castling at the moment till he gets some shots off, but I didn't give him any good shots. I don't think anything really happened in Magic. Shooting, he goes ahead and shoots the rocket, and I get lucky. He only gets 1 wound, and it multiplied and only did 1 wound onto the chariot. So I really lucked out there. These guys are going to start shooting into the chariots, do another wound. These guys start shooting into the chariots, end up killing off 1 of them, and they did a lot more damage. Killed off 1 and put 2 wounds on another. But that's about it. It's going to start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn 2. Orcs and Goblins turn 2. And guess who's next to me? It's my round 2 opponent, Alex. So, I'm going to leave it on this picture of this back of this Minotaur for a minute here. So, at this moment, I said it out loud, and James could attest to this. At this moment, I stared at it. I stared at the board. I'm thinking to myself, I'm freaking out. I'm like, he has a rocket battery. He's got to kill my general. He got this, he got that, he got this. And I had a moment of clarity. I'm dead serious. And I said this in the other battle reports, and I'm going to say it again in this one. I got to get the units I want into the battles I want. And then I said, how do I do that? And my response was, use my chaff. So I go ahead and I run the dogs right in front of the Imperial Guard. This allows me to push forward as far as I need to be because nobody else is close enough for threat range besides the horses. Not too worried about the horses. I move the Force Goblins up to face the horses because they're the best chance I got to kill those horses with AP 3 on if he charges me, and so many bodies and poison. Don't care if I lose the dogs. This is going to give me a chance to get Crom and the Savages and the K-Pack and the Spider into the units I want to get into. Anyways, so that was exactly what I said, exactly how I wanted it, and it's going to play out hopefully exactly like I need to. Magic, I got a 5. I go ahead and I do like, I think I did a couple wounds onto the Hellblaster again, the volley gun, whatever it is, the rockets. And it goes through because he really wants to stop the comet. So I 4 dice a comet, and I end up getting it off, even though he tried to 6 dice or 5 dice it back, and I just beat his number straight out. So the comet goes off, and I put it right here because I figured there's just so much shit here. Everything's gonna die, you know? Something's gonna die, and if it doesn't, it's gonna force him to move and shoot with his handguns, which I hope they're unwieldy. I don't even know if they are, but let's see how it goes. Shooting, these guys are going to continue to shoot into the rocket, and I end up blowing up the second rocket, and now I'm like, yes! Now I'm going to totally have a chance to get Dread out and do what he needs to do. Shooting, these guys over here are going to shoot into the Knights. They end up killing off 1 Knight, which is so fucking random, but I just kind of was like, I got extra shots. And it's going to start off turn 2. Turn 2, Empire of the Sonnstahl. Empire of the Sonnstahl, turn 2. He charges into dogs like so. Of course, whatever. And then, as you can see, he moves over here as chaff into my Force Goblins. Nothing else is really going to happen. Magic, he rolls an 8 on the Flux. Goes ahead and he tries to do stuff like Unerring Strike. I stopped it or I let it through. And the stuff he's doing is going towards Dread, but Dread basically hasn't taken a wound yet, so it doesn't really matter too much. But, did the comet come down? The comet does come down. Now, we don't roll the comet. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to do shooting phase real quick, and then we're going to go into the comet because I forgot about it. So, first things first. Cannon on the steam tank's going to shoot at the spider. Boom! Misfires. Woo! Lucked out there. Holy shit, did I luck out there. Over here, he's going to start shooting into my Force Goblins. He kills off only 1 Force Goblin with a Rioter. Then we realize the comet comes down. And not only does it come down, it comes down! Gives me a 12 on the range. A 12. And guys, on 3, 2, boom! Holy fuck! That is the pile of dead. That is the pile of dead from the comet. The comet blew the living bejesus out of my own dogs, out of his great swords, out of his handgunners, out of his knights, out of his riders. It wiped out 1 whole rider unit that was all the way on the right side, going to the left side to help with chaff, and it blew them up because he just ran right into it. Actually, he didn't even get too far away from it. And I mean, holy crap, that comet just wiped out a chunk of his army. It's gonna start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Guess who's coming up? So my Force Goblins run into the rioters. My Savages, I call it the wall. I charge in, and I charge the Savages right into those fucking great swords. And where the hell is Crom? Crom went boom into the flank of the tank. Flank of the tank. And it looks like Crom took a wound, so he probably got like an unerring strike or something on Crom. But that's how it looks. And not only that, but my Spider Rider's going up to harass that general. The Spider itself is going up to get to the flank of the... Basically, the way I looked at it was either, A, I could continue shooting at his gunners, but that ain't going to do shit. Or I could just bum rush him very soon. So I decided to bum rush, get up all the way with the Spider. It will actually pay off towards like later rounds how close she is. The K-Pack is a little exposed, but at the same time, K-Pack really didn't have any good targets. Magic, I got a 4 on the Power Flux. Go ahead and I do a Hand of Heaven onto his general, gets off a wound. That's it. Looks like it. So we're going to go to close combat with the Savages. Now I do this because obviously I need Crom to get the buffs to the Savages before Crom goes. So Crom gives them rerolls to 1s to wound. These guys are only T3, so basically anything I hit is about to wound. And holy fuck. He has great weapons. I already hit dwarves 3 times. 3 times this event. So I know that if I'm swinging first, I'm going to do a good chunk of damage. And guys, this is the dice roll right here. This is the dice roll of how many wounds I got. I got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 wounds on the Imperial Guard. 22. Boom! Holy crap. Now he did wipe out a huge chunk of my guys. It looks like 7, 8, 9, 10, plus another 16 guys. So he did do a good chunk of damage back, but I did a lot more. And we're going to stick there because he is stubborn, but I'm going to rip apart the remainder of his Imperial Guard by the time it's my turn. Crom himself whiffs. His cannon does a couple wounds, but I'm going to stick and I'm going to be steadfast. And it's going to start off his turn. Empire of the Sonnstahl. The Star Sonnstahl. Turn 3. Magic, he got a 5 on the Power Flux. Don't even know what he does. I don't even know why I take these pictures because I don't have any pictures of their cards of what magic they're doing. Usually because I stop it. I'm focused on stopping. But he charges his general into Crom, and holy crap, did this picture come out clear. This picture is an anomaly of my camera. It is an anomaly. Holy crap. And I've seen those tiger stripes on that Griffin before, done by, oh, what the hell is that guy's name? It was somebody I played, like, my first Adepticon. He did the same tiger stripes onto the Hippogriff, Karl Franz model. Anyways, but this picture is just ridiculously clear and crisp. And I think his Empire Demigriff there, his Karl Franz, is like, dude, you killed 2 of our chickens because you got 2 chicken heads on Crom. I'm going to fucking take them off of you, you disrespectful beast. Foul beast. So besides this picture here, we do have a magic phase. He goes ahead and he rolls an unerring strike, and he rolls triple 5s on 5 dice, which gives him triple 6s, right? So he goes ahead and he does it onto my general. He ends up doing 2 wounds onto my general, but the cost of doing 2 wounds onto my general that way has cost him to take, I think it was like 4d6 on a 4-up. He takes a wound, and he dies. His wizard dies. Holy shit. Over here, close combat, as you can see, he kills off a couple more savages. My savages continue to kill off his Imperial Guard. We're still going to stick there. His attack on Crom, he ends up doing like 4 or 5 wounds. Crom only has 1 wound remaining. Crom does 1 wound back onto his general, and it's going to go ahead and start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Freaking Space Rock is charging the ass of Karl Franz. And the reason why I'm doing this, there's a whole purpose, is I'm charging downhill my general into the flank of the Imperial Guard. I should be able to win that combat. I should be able to just destroy it. Now, my goal here is to get into Karl Franz, and he cannot do enough wounds to kill my spider. My spider is still fully healthy, okay? So my whole goal is either to kill him, because he only has like 2 wounds left, I think, or to hold him with a stubborn 10 if my general makes the charge. So that's my goal. The one thing I wasn't thinking about after the fact is the cannon on the tank is still going to be free if Crom dies. So I go ahead and I make this charge. Get in. Boom, boom, boom. As you can see, my Forest Goblins, he actually marched his Knight unit out of the line of sight of my Forest Goblins. So my Forest Goblins are just coming up to threaten anybody hiding on the hill, behind the hill. Magic, I got a 6 on the Power Flux. go ahead and I do a lightning van brace, kill off a couple of these guys here, hoping to clean up some points. And then close combat over here, as you can see. Now my general and the savages ended up wiping out the remainder of the Imperial Guard, including his characters in there. Now, my general still has 2 wounds on him, and I leave my general here because in the case that I overrun and I overran too far, I'm going to lose my stubborn 10 on the spider, and I want the spider to be stubborn 10. But then after I already claimed the savages are chasing my general's gonna stick, I realize his tank could just still turn around and shoot me once Crom dies. So this is scaring the shit out of me. Alright. So, close combat over here. My spider goes and does all these attacks. He armor saves everything. Fucking Crom tries to do a crush attack for like the 3rd time in a row, and I fucking miss it. Alright? So he goes ahead and he swings, and he kills Crom. He kills Crom. Now, Crom only had 1 wound left, right? So Crom's dead. So he has 1 combat res. I have a charge, and a big rear, and a fucking goblin. A fucking goblin. Strength 4 goblin got 1 wound off on his general, which counted. So I'm up on 4 combat res. He has 1 combat res. So I'm up by 3. He fails it because the BSB is dead. It was an Imperial Guard unit. And he runs, and my spider chases him down and eats a fucking space rock, you fucking motherfucking bitch. And not only that, but I overrun, and I run right into the tank. Right into the tank. And it causes a panic, I believe, on the little unit that was by the bushwhackers. And at that point, he's just like, fuck, there goes my only shot. His only shot was to shoot me with the tank, kill my general, cause massive panics, and then I can't really do too much. But my spider just won me the game. Holy shit! It's a 20-0. 20-0! So I run up to Gene Phelps. I'm like, Gene, I got 20. And he's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, how did you do, Gene? He goes, I don't want to talk about it. Gene only got, I believe, 1 point on the last round. I'm like, holy shit, I definitely have this. I have freaking best ONG again. 3rd year in a row. 3rd year in a row. And we'll go over the results in a minute. Okay. As you can see, guys, here's a picture of all the plaques and some cupcakes that they were giving out at Buckeye battles. Now, here's also the awards for the best general and the best in the best overall. Now, I was looking at this sword as I was up here taking this picture, and I was realizing, what the fuck, man? My sword is cheap quality compared to this sword. This sword is much nicer than my sword. What the fuck? I feel ripped off. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and talk. If you guys want to stop the video here, you can. This is probably going to be another 20 minutes. It's going to go over the winners. Also go over how my army did overall in the whole tournament. And also go over these pictures really quick. Me and Len went to a nice hibachi grill at night. It was actually pretty awesome. This is a good experience, and I appreciate that me and Len did this. We also went and hung out with Ben Nelson. There's Len right there. And Phil Carl. Here's a picture of Mike Smith winning his He-Man bath, what is that called? The shower curtains. They put it on as a cape. Alright, so these are in no specific order because I had just copied them off the internet, and basically these are, even though they're my own pictures, I didn't have them on my camera because I was running out of memory. So we're going to start off with what I got here. I got best presentation. I won best painted army. So that's the 3rd year in a row, or is it 2nd year in a row at Buckeyes? I think it's the 3rd year in a row at Buckeyes for Best Painted Army. I honestly really appreciated Jason Shoop's army, and speaking of Jason Shoop, I'm going to pull up his picture next. Jason Shoop actually won Player's Choice. Or does it say General Choice? It does say General's Choice. But basically, for the players to vote on which army they liked, Jason won the most votes, which I even voted for him myself. I even told him that. So, we're going to go over here. We got the best Kingdom of Equitane and the best Orc and Goblin army. The best Kingdom of Equitane army... Who the hell's calling me? I don't even have Chase. Alright. Best Kingdom of Equitane army went to Green Dragon Gaming Mark. And Pretty Boy took the best ONG. He actually beat me fair and square. I thought he was beating me because I switched my list around at the end, but he actually beat me fair and square. Even if I got the 10 point from the 10-point handicap, he beat me and Gene and took it, and he even took 12th place. I think I ended up like in 30th place. I ended up in 30th place because of the 10-point hit. If I had those 10 points, I think I would probably been in like, I think like somewhere in the teens. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. My boy Phil Carl, rocking the Juice Crew shirt, took best Sylvan Elves. I believe that's 3 years in a row for Phil. Phil, the Tree Master Carl, or as I call him, PK. We got, is this Max? I want to say it's Max. I'm totally sorry if this isn't Max. I always mess up people's names. I'm totally looking it up right now. Yeah, it's Max. Alright. I am not going to pronounce your last name, though. Max ended up taking... No, well, I'm going to hide this picture. He ended up taking this one. Warriors of the Dark Gods. Best Warriors of the Dark Gods. We're going to go over a lot of the armies here. Shannon Powell ended up taking the best Ogre Con. We have, what's his name? Bill Miner here. He ended up taking best Vermin Swarm. O'Brien Jennings took best Vampire Covenant. This one was actually kind of a, not an upset, but just kind of a shocker. Most people were like, who? Because usually Chris Mintz mops this one up. But Chris Mintz also took a 10-point hit on list submission. Over here, Mr. Phil Blake ended up taking the best Undying Dynasties. This guy right here, Mr. Fake Fox himself, Mr. Joe Finlayson, he ended up taking Best Saurian Ancients, but he not only did he take Best Saurian Ancients, he actually made a name for himself at this event because he went the first 4 rounds 20-0. 20-0, 20-0, 20-0, 20-0. So he finished up really high. We're going to go over that. Here's another picture of the best ONG, which was Mr. Pretty Boy himself, and there's Mark again. Now, for Best Infernal Dwarf Army, they were playing for the top place. They were playing against each other in the last round, and whoever won would win, and they ended with a 10-10. So they had literally the same amount of sportsmen, the same amount of paint score, and the same amount of battle points. So they ended up getting a tie for the best Infernal Dwarf Army, and that's Len Zakowski and Max Lapora. As you can see, they didn't want to give the award. I was like, you guys are going to have visitation rights on the award? Who gets it from what month to what month? Mr. Justin Berge took the best High Elf Army. And then Mr. Charles Sadler ended up taking the best Empire of the Sonnstahl. Over here, Mr. Brandon Gallegos ended up taking the best Demon Legions. His boy, I think this guy's name is Ben. I totally forgot, and I'm sorry. I think it is Ben, and you guys could totally correct me in the comment section. But he took the best Dread Elf Army. Pete Grungy Music Reese ended up taking the best Dwarven Holds with the nice dwarf face right there. Alex Meyer took best Beast Herds again. Best Sportsmanship goes to both Brian Amburn and Jay Ferris. I don't know why I couldn't remember Jay Ferris' name for the life of me. I just knew it was a Highborn Elf player. Alright, so we already went over this guy. Now, over here, second place and best general. Or no, third place and best general. He got hit up on list submission, and he got hit up maybe on paint, I think. I don't think so, because this guy's a great painter, too. But he ended up taking third place and took the Warhammer home, and that is Mr. Joe Finlayson with his silly face. Alright. Second place went to Max here, and he is part of the, I want to say, part of the East crew, which is like the first group of people we fought in the challenge. And then first place with a shocking but well-deserved upset goes to Brandon Gallegos. I am actually so happy for this guy. The sword was so fucking heavy. I was like, dude, you want my sword instead? I really want that sword. I really do. Oh, man. I had a moment with him when he was grabbing the sword and getting ready for the photo. If you guys ever watched the movie 13th Warrior, it's with Antonio Banderas, and he's walking around with Vikings, and the Viking gives him a sword, and he goes, I cannot wield this. And they go, grow stronger. That's exactly how I felt when he got the sword. I was like, grow stronger. Brandon, I'm proud of you. Well-deserved victory. I'm very happy for this win because, to be honest, this is an upset where, you know, it's not any of the normal power gamers that won, and I think that is an awesome thing. I think that's an awesome thing that you could go to a 100-man event and perform so well consistently and walk away with the best award. And I can now honestly say I am no longer the Buckeyes champion of last year, because now Brandon is 2 years ago. Anyways, guys, as you can see, here's a picture of me getting ready to go. And that was actually me getting ready to go to Mexico, but this is a picture I'm going to put up for me getting ready to go to Croatia. My mohawk is gone now, guys. It had its last day. I actually went to a family trip in Mexico, and it was an awesome trip, but I shaved the mohawk off afterwards. Doing a new thing for my hair. But I'm getting ready to go to Croatia, guys, so if you guys can, hit me up on Patreon. Donate anything you can. It would help me greatly. Anything will help me greatly on Patreon. I would be glad to get back to you guys with better videos, better quality videos. Also help get me a camera for these videos. And I also have to give a very special shout out to Aaron Chaum, who actually donated money towards my camera, and Mr. James Starr, the guy I'm playing right now, gave me a very nice donation, and I really, really appreciate it, because now it's getting me closer to getting a brand new camera. Besides that, guys, let's go over what my army did. I have it up here, and we're going to go in backwards order here. And by the way, I'm very sorry if I missed the picture on the... I might have missed a couple pictures. I do actually here. Here's a picture for the guy who won the Rubber Mallet Award, which is Connor Lenegar. Is that him? Connor? Corey? No, Corey's the dwarf guy. It's Connor. Connor Lenegar. He's the happiest person to ever win a Rubber Mallet ever in my life. He was so damn happy. Here's a picture of the Best Team Award that actually went to the AZ Undivided, and the only person missing on this picture is Skaven and AZ. He left early to catch a flight. And I think I'm missing the picture of the most miles traveled guy, which was a guy from Finland. He came out to Buckeyes, and they gave him an award just for the most miles traveled. Alright, let's go over my list really quick and see how it did. Coming up in last place is actually the Bushwhackers, which is a very huge, like, they should be doing better. They just didn't, the leadership hurt me at a couple rounds, and a couple of the battles they didn't get the matches that they needed to. They did take some objectives, and they did create a zone of denial where people were just like, I don't want to go near those guys. But overall, they didn't perform that well. They only got 393 points in 5 games. In all fairness, the Ruins in the game against the Dwarf took almost as many points in just 1 wound. The Squad, which is just some goblins with bows, took 508 points, which is actually pretty impressive. The Space Rock ended up in, wow, Space Rock's in 6th place with 1,547 points, which is not really that much. Coming up higher than the Space Rock, though, is Crom, and Crom took 1952. I was missing Crom, to be honest. I was running around with 2 spiders for a little while, and even though the spiders have damage potential, when the A-Rock and Space Rock are together, Crom creates a totally different dynamic to the Orc and Goblin army because he's T8, and he's able to just take a hit from something. The K-Pack. K-Pack's coming up in 4th place with 2,127 points. They did decent. They didn't do as much as they could have, but they were pretty solid, and I think I got better at playing with them to bring them around 4th place. 3rd place goes to Dread, Warboss Dread Irontooth with 3,773 points, and I'm actually surprised he took that many. Most of my UB games, Dread's one of the first guys to die, so I'm actually kind of shocked that he did that well overall. 2nd place, this is actually kind of an upset. 2nd place goes to the Feral Orc Ed Bashers, the Foot Clan, the Savage Foot Clan, taking 4,365 points. And I'm glad I brought them back out of the table. I do feel like my future incarnations of my current lists, I'm going to keep the Savages around because you see how much damage potential they have, but I believe that's with them with the ability of using Crom as well. They were able to reroll those ones and do a lot more damage because of that. And coming into 1st place, which is my unit, my own designed, hand-picked unit, which is Bazooka's Bastards. Those motherfuckers took 4,849 points in magic and shooting. Let me say that again. They took 4,849 points in 5 games, so they averaged about like maybe around 1,000 points a game, mostly, like 950 points a game or so. And they did that every game for 5 games. Okay? That's insane with magic and shooting. magic and shooting. That's insane! Holy shit. Holy shit. I'm so happy about them. Len told me I shouldn't post these videos up so that way I could go to ETC where people don't know what the hell I'm doing. But, oh well, I already did. I already did because I figured I wouldn't be able to do it any other time. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I enjoyed making them. I'm going to try to get out 2 more practice games, if not 1 more practice game before I leave on Saturday. Right now, while I'm recording this is still Thursday, so hopefully I can get you guys out some more games. But if not, guys, I hope you enjoy these videos. I enjoy making them. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. Throw me a bone on Patreon. It would be greatly appreciated. If you guys are going to be at ETC and you want some of the Koopa dice, I am selling the Koopa dice, so send me a private message and we'll go over that. And besides that, I think that's about it, guys. Till next time, take care and peace.